everyone. Welcome to the Show Banff Show. I'm here with Sherry. Sherry, do you want to tell us about yourself and your business?
Well, I've been in Banff since 2006. I opened The Last Temptation in 2008. So it's been 13 years now of costumes and, oh, my daughter has to poop. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Take your time.
Okay, start the recording again. Yeah.
Okay, recording is running. So, yeah, I was asking you about your business. One of my favorite things is I used to come with like all the time just to dress up in the costumes. And what's been your favorite costume of all time?
Oh, wow. There's so many over the years. It's, been 13 years. So we had a really awesome Donnie Darko costume. There was a few handmade ones that we got from a lady in Calgary, but I can't remember what they were. It was like an Ewok, I think. It was like an adult Ewok. That was a really, really good one for sure.
That is so cool. Do you like keep some of the costumes for yourself, or do you like because you get like first dibs?
I
or
do.
You wear them and then give them away?
Yeah, we bought a bunch of Victorian dresses from a Calgary movie costume company that didn't rent out or sell because they cost so much. So they are in the house somewhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're fun to dress up in, and I've certainly gone to the casino in them and stuff like that. Yeah, those would be probably the only ones. And the kids, obviously, I mean, they're always growing, so we don't really keep too much because
that's fair. That's fair. So how do you get all these costumes in?
Well, it's a bit of a thing. We pick in vintage warehouses. We have certain suppliers. People come into the store and we buy stuff from them that way. There's a few other ways that we get them, but the main way is there's costume distributors. So wherever, a big box store would buy costumes, we would also purchase them from those same people.
That is amazing. So if I decide like I don't want to keep this costume anymore, I can just bring it into the store and be like, hey.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, depending on the time of year and the quality of the costume, depending on we might not.
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
January, but depending on what it is, for sure. Yeah. We're always interested in amazing stuff, for sure.
I love how when you go in, everything's like so classy. It's so much fun. Like a couple of dresses, I go in just to try them. Like I love the look of them and just like it's so much fun. Like it makes your day just dressing up, having fun. And I love it.
Yeah, that's like great about the store is people that come in are really excited, and that really makes you feel good about your job as well.
Dude, you must have so much fun just seeing people dress up and be like, look at this, look at that.
Yeah,
all the time.
Definitely. And I think because of the nature of the business as well, we tend to get more easygoing, lovely people. And obviously we're a little hidden, so we don't really get the Banff tourists that other shops do. So it's quite lovely, actually. We get some gems coming through the store for sure.
That's amazing. Whenever my friends come to visit, they're just like, this is a hidden little gem right here. Like, it's perfect. And you said with COVID, it's been harder. Like, what transitions have you had to make?
Well, we tried to go online. So when we were completely shut down, I spent all day, every day, like posting things and trying to, I had to make a website where you could purchase from the website. But really, our price point for vintage is a lot lower than other vintage shops. So it doesn't really translate well for online. So we had to, navigate that. It's it's a tricky thing to completely change your business model overnight, but we did what we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to give you a round of applause because that learning experience and the fact you took action is amazing. Like, that's a lot of work.
You have to. I mean, if you don't, then, I mean, I wouldn't have lasted 13 years in Banff if I wasn't able to pivot. Times have changed a lot. We've seen a lot of businesses come and go.
So over your 13 years, what, like, if you're to give new business owners advice, like, what would you say your biggest learning curve was over those 13 years?
I don't think that you can give people advice. Like, I think that there's independent businesses where you just have that drive, you get it, and you can figure it out, and you just have that analytical mindset and you can figure it out. Or you're the type of person that can go to school for business, you can learn a formula, you can find a formula that works for you, and you can buy somebody else's business, which that also works, and it's probably a safe way to go for some people. But they're two completely different things, and that model can obviously be taught, I think.
That is fascinating. It totally makes sense. It's cool how everyone has their own perspective on it. It's so true.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing for sure, especially in today's climate.
Yeah. That is totally fair. So how do most of your customers find you?
We actually, the majority of the people that find us, I think, is word of mouth, which we're pretty lucky with. We try and do advertising, but it doesn't really work too well for us. Honestly, it must just be mainly word of mouth. It's a small town, people know it. We're mostly have locals come and shop at the store, so it doesn't take you too long to find out all the nook and crannies of Banff, right?
That's amazing. And if you ever need, because I've been following your Instagram, I love how you're posting like in the costumes, making it fun, heading out. If you ever need anyone to like pose or like have fun, can I sign up?
Oh, we would love to have you.
It's way too much fun dressing up.
For sure. Yes! We actually just had to restart our Instagram too, so we have a lot of photos to take.
How come?
Instagram just shuts you down sometimes, and they don't tell you why, so you kind of have to figure it out. So I'm not really sure, but start from scratch. Yeah. And
you lose all your clientele, and actually for the Banff show, because of that, we've been worried because they've been shutting down platforms, even Facebook and other accounts. And like sometimes it's copyright, sometimes it's something else, sometimes they don't give you a reason. So just in case as a backup, we're opening a website so that way we don't lose everything, because we'd hate to lose this interview.
Yeah, well, I had 10 years of just wonderful memories. We used to do punk rock bingo at the Camel Hotel back when it was the Dirty Ho, people from Canmore know it was just this lovely little rundown gem in Canmore, which has been renovated since then. We had this nice punk rock bingo there, and we had all these memories and all gone.
Oh no.
That would be so frustrating. Oh man. That's crazy.
I mean, it's fine. We'll get through it. It's very important to have an Instagram, to have that online presence, even if you are a brick and mortar store and you don't do the online thing. It's just the way that you interact and connect with people now.
It's true, and it's today's world. Like, we've been playing off of it a lot for the Banff show, and it's what we rely on. So
yeah, for sure.
It's amazing.
You guys are completely digital.
Yeah, completely. We're hoping once COVID's not issued to like actually get more behind the scenes, but it's been really cool. And you said you have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. I have to ask, do they always go to the shop and dress up and have fun?
Well, we don't really sell kid stuff at the store because that was another learning curve, was that kid stuff doesn't sell for any price. So yeah,
Weird.
they can't really do that. I have a friend who has a daughter who's able to shop there, but not until you're about, you know, the 12-year-old, really.
That makes sense. And that's so interesting.
But the toys, we do have like Transformers and stuff like that. So every time my 6-year-old goes in there, he begs for a toy.
Like, please. Do you let him take it home and just sneak it back later? Or
It's a mixed thing. I don't want my children to have the attitude that they can walk into a place and just take whatever they want. So I sort
that's
of,
fair.
not all the time, let them, and I make sure that my children are appreciative of the things that they get, because I just don't want.
That's a great lesson. I love that you're doing that, because like that's not easy to do, because like when kids are just like, good for you for like saying that boundary and teaching them.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
My job.
Your job. Yes. And has your kids helped with, like, because it's mental health week, has your kids helped with like your mental health, or you're saying before or earlier?
Yeah, for sure. So when COVID shut down the store, and I didn't know if I was going to have a store anymore because nobody knew how long this thing was going to last, what was going to be the repercussions of COVID. We still don't really know, to be honest, but it really makes you reevaluate everything in life. And when the things that you can lose versus the things that you're likely not, and the things that make you happy. And yeah, so I've just really been being a much better mother, instead of, because there's always something that has to take a back seat. So if you're really good in business, your children aren't really your focus while you're trying to drive a business. Not that you ignore them, but it really changes everything when you realize that, you know, the business can come and go. It's been 13 years, but your children are more important.
Oh, that's amazing. What things have you been doing to like hang out with your kids more, give them more attention since all this has happened?
Well, I mean, it's nothing that I wasn't doing before. We just do it more often. So we're outside more, we go for bike rides more. The kids like
that's
to play
amazing.
Yeah, it's just kid stuff. We can't really go anywhere.
That's so much fun. And with that age, they must love it. Like, that's the magical age. They believe in everything. And
oh no, they question me on everything.
that's fair. Oh my gosh, yes. Julian, why? Oh, these are so much fun. And the questions you ask, sometimes just like, I don't know how to answer this.
Yeah. Yeah, you do your best.
It's so true. Like, actually, Tanya's son, he's always asking me hard questions. And sometimes just like, I don't know how to answer that. Ask your mom.
Yeah.
At the after school care.
Yeah, it's tough. I try not to lie to my children, so I don't tell them about you know, Santa Claus and all this sort of stuff. But that's gonna get them in trouble with the other kids who do.
Yes.
It's a tricky line that you have to walk.
That is fair. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing how they're gonna like manage that. And like, do you think you're gonna give them some guidance, or do you think you're just gonna see what happens?
With believing in things, or sorry, I don't understand the question.
With Santa Claus and all of that. Like, I love how you're putting honesty first.
Yeah, well, I just told him, you know, he's not real. Some people believe that he is. If you want to, that's fine. I don't think that you should tell other kids that he's not real, because that'll make them sad because their parents tell them that it is. but this is how it is. And I sort of leave it up to them, although that doesn't work. He tells the other kids, but I just don't understand how we all collectively got together and we're going to lie about this man who comes into our house and leaves presents. It just seems ridiculous to me, but I understand like the nostalgia and why other people want to do it. I just can't really get behind it. Also, like I had 2 older siblings and a younger sibling growing up, so I always sort of never really believed in him because I was told that he wasn't real by my siblings growing up, so I never really had that.
That's
connection.
fair.
And it didn't change anything.
Siblings. You're still living an amazing life. You even opened up your own shop, having fun, costumes, and I love. What inspired you to open the shop in the first place?
I was working in the restaurant industry. I worked in the restaurant industry for 10 years before I opened the store. So there's a thing that you can do with your friends. You all get together and you bring all of the clothes that you don't want to wear anymore or have that you were going to donate to somebody, and you bring it and you kind of have this party where you go through your friends' clothes, you take what you want, and then you donate whatever's left over. And so me and my friends were
so much fun.
It would have been. It never happened is the problem. So we all worked in a restaurant where none of us started work before 3 p.m., but we couldn't get together. It just didn't work out. And then I was like, if there was a place where we could put everything and we could come at our own time and go through the stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of like a thrift store. Oh, Banff doesn't have a thrift store. Banff should have a thrift store.
And then the dots start connecting and
yeah, it really was that whole line of thought, just like it just happened that way. And Banff needed one. I think a lot of people think that it couldn't exist in Banff because rent prices and all this sort of thing, but there's a way if you think that there's a need for something.
Why?
I love how you found a need. And sorry, Tanya, go for it.
Why is that name of your place? Why it's called that way?
The Last Temptation?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it before. I like the sound of it. I've always liked the sound of it, but it is based on The Last Temptation of Christ, which is a book. Not that the story is in any way connected to being religious or anti-religious, because that book was a very banned book in its time. I just like the way that it sounds.
Right. Nice.
That's interesting and good question, Tanya. I love it. Wow. So I have to ask, what is like the weirdest costumes you've seen? Like, have you got some like really interesting ones, or do you just get, or like, what's like the most weirdest thing you've gotten in, do you think?
No, I mean, I guess it just runs the gambit of whatever you can possibly think of, like we've picked up some early 19th century stuff from I think we got some stuff from like the Calgary Heritage Park, I think it's called.
I love Heritage Park.
Yeah, so they were getting rid of some stuff and we picked up, we just whatever we can find that's cool. But I mean, certainly we started off more thrift and we tried to move away from that. There's now a church thrift in town. There wasn't when we opened. So we're trying to do the more costume, vintage sort of higher end thing, which is easier to do than thrift, believe it or not. Because you get some pretty gross stuff coming through sometimes that you have to deal with.
That makes sense.
I can't really think of anything like super crazy, but maybe my bar for what's crazy and what's not is different than other people's. but that, yeah,
I
just
love
finding
how you
really old
pick and
antique-
choose.
yeah, just kind of whatever's quality and amazing and fun, and just stuff we like seeing and being around, because fast fashion is difficult for me to have in the store or look at or be around, because what's connected to that, and we're not about that sort of thing.
I have a question.
I love how you're bringing back old fat. Oh, go for it, Tanya.
Have you ever thought about or do you have any connections with the other thrift store in order to do some kind of business wise for the future?
So the one in Banff, we when they opened, I approached the lady that was running it. I can't remember her, Janet was her name. And so I approached her and was like, let's, do a cross promotion. We can put a poster of yours on our door. You can put a poster up for you. And that lasted for a little bit. But and then I remember, what was it? There was a big thing where I think it was the fires in Fort Mac. So we were doing all these things around town where like I was friends with the owners of Bruno, so we did a little pop-up shop there, and everything that we got donated to the store we put in there, and 100% of whatever we got we gave to the floods or the fires. And I think the flood was another thing. The flood happened.
Amazing.
So we contacted them about if they had any extra clothes. I was going to drive it into the drop off. There was a drop off spot, I think, for the fires in Calgary. But they had someplace else that their clothes was going to, so that didn't end up happening. So I have reached out to them a couple of times, but I think what we're doing is so different, and they have so many volunteers and sort of that sort of thing. So, but I'm certainly open to anybody who's doing the same mission, for sure. I'm very appreciative of every sort of secondhand store, or somebody who's making a go of this, because it's pretty important to see everything that goes to a rag house that is just been passed on, that would have been made into rags or thrown in the garbage.
And I love your mission. A thing just popped up on my screen saying we only have a couple minutes left. So is there anything you want to say to the audience before we get
well, I appreciate everybody's support. We've had some really lovely people support us during these tough times. This is Willow.
Oh yes, we get a surprise appearance! Woohoo! Celebrity guest.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
This was another COVID endeavor. I started knitting and knit too big of a hat for my kids.
That's
but
amazing.
yeah,
You learned some new skills.
I want to just thank everybody. That's, I mean, it's, I feel it, I appreciate it. And we look forward to when we can live normally again.
That is totally fair. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'd love to have you back sometime. This is amazing, and we learned so much from you.
Thank you, Sage. It was lovely to meet you. And Tanya.
You was
Thank you so much.